Alright, so I guess I'll start from the beginning because honestly, I don't even know where else to begin. My name's Mark, and I was married to Lisa for about 2 years. Looking back, maybe I should have seen the signs, but I really thought we had something solid. We met in college, and honestly, I fell for her pretty quick. She was fiery, smart, and had this way of making everything seem exciting. We got married after about a year of dating, and I thought I'd finally found my forever. Things weren't perfect, but I was willing to work through the rough patches. Lisa had her moments. She could be bitchy, really snappy, and she loved to lie her way out of stuff. But I figured that was just her personality. We had good times too, and I was convinced we were happy, or at least I was. Looking back, I guess I was just blind. The first signs of trouble began a few months ago. She started coming home late more often, sometimes with that irritated look on her face like she'd been through hell. She'd brush it off, say she was working late or meeting friends, but I noticed she stopped wanting to talk about her day. She'd get defensive if I asked questions. Then there were the little things, her phone always with her, password changed without telling me, and her being secretive about her texts. I didn't want to be that guy who snoops, but I couldn't ignore the gut feeling. Something was off. I'd catch her lying about where she was or who she was with. She tell me she was hanging out with her coworker Sarah, but Sarah was never around when I tried to meet her. It all felt wrong, but I kept telling myself I was overreacting. Maybe I was paranoid. Then 2 weeks ago, everything exploded. I came home early from work because I was feeling sick. As I was unlocking the door, I heard voices from inside. I froze for a second, trying to make sense of what I was hearing. There was laughter, muffled but unmistakable, and then a man's voice. My heart dropped. I slowly opened the door and I froze. There she was, Lisa, in our honeymoon suite with Jake. Jake, my best friend, the guy I've known for 10 years, the guy I trusted with everything. They were on the bed, tangled up, clothes half off, and the way they looked at each other. I don't even have the words, just pure betrayal. My stomach turned and I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. I didn't say a word. I just turned around and walked out before they even saw me. That moment hit me like a freight train. Everything I thought I knew about Lisa, about Jake, about us, it was all a lie. I kept replaying it in my head like some sick movie. I felt so numb but also furious. How long had this been going on? Did she even love me? Was I just some fool she married for convenience or some ego boost? I don't know. All I knew was that I had to see her again, confront her, face whatever lies she'd come up with, because I needed answers. And more than that, I needed to know if I was crazy for trusting her, or if she'd been playing me all along. So after I saw them in that hotel room, everything shifted. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, staring at the wall, trying to process what I'd seen. My mind kept circling back to Jake, my supposed best friend, and Lisa, my wife. How could they do this to me? How could she lie so easily, look me in the eyes, and pretend everything was fine? I kept asking myself if I missed the signs, if I was blind or just stupid for not noticing sooner. The next day, I couldn't even pretend to be normal at work. I was irritable, distracted, and everyone could tell something was wrong. I kept trying to push it down, but the image of them together kept flashing in my mind. I knew I had to confront her, but I also knew it wouldn't be easy. Knowing Lisa, she'd come up with some bullshit story, try to twist it around or deny everything. But I wasn't going to let her get away with it. That evening, I waited until she got home. She strolled in, throwing her typical "hey, babe," as if everything was fine. I didn't say much at first. Just looked at her with this mix of anger and heartbreak. She looked at me, saw the expression on my face, and immediately got defensive. "What's wrong, Mark? You look like you've seen a ghost," she said, trying to play it cool, but her voice was a little shaky. I didn't bother beating around the bush. "I saw you," I said flatly. "In the honeymoon suite with Jake. Tell me what the hell is going on." Her eyes widened and she quickly recovered, throwing out some bullshit about how I was paranoid, how I was imagining things, and that Jake was just a friend helping her with some work stuff. She lied easily, with that bitchy smirk she always used when she thought she was in control. I could see right through her. She kept saying she loved me, that it was a mistake, that she was stressed, that it didn't mean anything. But I wasn't stupid. I knew better. I had seen the way she looked at him, the way they touched, the way she whispered to him in that hotel room. It was more than just a mistake. It was a betrayal of everything I thought we had. And the fact that she kept lying, trying to downplay it, made me angrier. I felt like I was losing my mind, like I was stuck in some terrible nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I told her I wasn't buying her bullshit, that I deserved honesty, and if she had anything to say, now was the time. That's when she started crying, saying she was sorry, that she loved me but she was overwhelmed, that it didn't mean anything, and that Jake was just a dumb mistake. She kept insisting it was just sex, that she never loved him, that she was confused. But her tears felt like fake tears, and I knew she was just trying to manipulate me into feeling sorry for her. I felt sick. My head was spinning, and I didn't know whether to scream at her or break down myself. I thought about all the years we spent together, how I trusted her, how I thought we were building something real. And now this. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I wanted to shout, to break something, to make her feel what I felt. But I didn't. Instead, I just told her to leave. Go stay with her mother, go anywhere but here. I told her I needed time to think, that I wasn't going to make any rash decisions. She left crying, still lying, still pretending she didn't do anything wrong. And I was left standing there in my house, feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. This wasn't just a betrayal, it was a full-on assault on everything I believed about her, about us, about trust itself. I didn't sleep that night either. I just kept replaying everything, trying to figure out what I had done wrong, if I could fix this, or if I'd been fooling myself all along. The days that followed were a blur. I couldn't focus on anything except the betrayal that burned in my mind. Every time I saw her face in my memories, I felt this surge of anger, hot and uncontrollable. But beneath that, there was a deeper pain, like a hole in my chest I couldn't fill. I kept asking myself how I missed everything, how I didn't see the signs, how Lisa, my wife, had been lying to me for so long. I tried to talk to friends, but honestly, most didn't know what to say. They told me I deserved better, that I should just move on. Some suggested I should confront Jake, but I did want to go down that road. I wasn't looking for some petty revenge or a fistfight. I just wanted to understand how it all happened. Why her? Why Jake? Why betray everything we had? In the meantime, Lisa was still lying, still trying to spin her story. She called me dozens of times, crying, begging, saying she was sorry, that she didn't mean to hurt me. She kept insisting it was just sex, that she was stressed, that she was drunk, that she was confused. Honestly, I don't know what I expected, but hearing her lie so shamelessly just made my blood boil. One night, I decided I needed to see her again, face to face, get some clarity. I told her to meet me at the coffee shop down the street. When she got there, her makeup was smudged, her eyes red from crying. She tried to act like everything was fine, like she hadn't just betrayed me in the worst way imaginable. But I wasn't buying it. I looked her straight in the eyes and asked, "Was it just sex, Lisa, or was there more to it? Were you ever truly in love with me?" She hesitated, then gave this sharp, bitchy laugh. "Honestly, Mark, you're so clueless. You think I'd be stupid enough to fall for Jake if I actually loved him? Please. It was just a fling, a stupid mistake. It didn't mean anything." I clenched my fists. I could feel this wave of rage rising. How could she be so callous, so cold? Her words were like knives. I wanted to scream at her, to tell her she was a selfish, manipulative bitch who threw away everything we had because she couldn't control her own impulses. But I just sat there, silent, staring at her like she was already dead in my eyes. My mind was racing. I knew I had to decide what to do next. I could try to fix this, maybe forgive her and hope she was telling the truth, or I could cut her out entirely. Deep down, I already knew. I felt sick, but I knew I couldn't keep living like this, with the doubt, the pain, and the betrayal eating me up inside. That night, I went home and started packing. I didn't tell her I was leaving for good, but I couldn't stay. Everything in this house now reminded me of the lies, of her cheating and Jake, of what I thought was real and wasn't. I found some of her clothes and threw them in a box. I took my wedding ring off and left it on the nightstand. It felt like I was finally shedding the last part of the life I thought I had. As I walked out that door, I realized something. I wasn't just walking away from her. I was walking away from a version of myself I no longer recognized. I'd been naive, trusting blindly, thinking love could fix everything. But now I knew better. Sometimes people lie. Sometimes they cheat. Sometimes the ones you trust the most turn out to be the ones who hurt you the worst. And honestly, it hurts like hell. But I also knew I had to pick myself up and figure out what came next. The first few days after I left were a mess. I stayed with a friend trying to keep my head straight, but honestly, my mind kept replaying everything. Her lies, the image of her with Jake, the way she looked at him like he was the only person that mattered. It was like I had been hit by a freight train, and no matter how much I tried to distract myself, the pain just kept coming back. I kept asking myself, how did it get so bad? I mean, I knew Lisa could be a bitch sometimes, sharp, manipulative, always ready with a snarky comment. But I never thought she'd do this. Not with Jake, not my best friend. Those two, I trusted them both. That trust has been shattered into a million pieces, and I honestly don't know if I'll ever be able to piece it back together. Some nights I'd lie awake and wonder if I was overreacting, if maybe I'd misunderstood something. But then I remembered the way she looked in that hotel room, that intimate, almost desperate look she had for Jake, and I knew I wasn't crazy. I saw what I saw, and it hurt so much that I could hardly breathe. I started seeing a therapist. Honestly, that helped a little. I needed someone to talk to who wasn't emotionally involved, someone who could give me a clear perspective. The therapist told me I was mourning a loss, loss of trust, loss of a future I'd envisioned with Lisa. She told me to be patient with myself, that healing takes time. But it's hard, it's so damn hard. Meanwhile, Lisa kept texting me, trying to apologize, trying to explain. The usual bullshit, how she was overwhelmed, how she didn't mean to hurt me, how she loved me but she made a mistake. I didn't reply. I knew she was just trying to manipulate me into taking her back, but I wasn't ready. I needed space. I needed to think. One night I decided to check her phone. I know, it's probably wrong, but I couldn't help myself. I had to see if she was still lying or if she had any other secrets. What I found was enough to confirm everything I suspected. Messages, pictures, even a few messages between her and Jake, talking about how they'd be careful and not let anyone find out. She kept trying to convince him to meet up again, and Jake was just as into it. That was the final straw. Seeing those messages made me realize that this wasn't some stupid fling. They were planning things, sneaking around like a couple of guilty kids. They didn't care. Who knew, did they? That realization made my stomach turn even more. I felt betrayed, angry, and deeply humiliated. So I decided I'd had enough. I sent Lisa a message saying I knew everything, about her lying, her cheating, Jake, everything. I told her I was done. Done with the lies, done with the betrayal, done with pretending I didn't see the truth. I told her I wasn't coming back, that I didn't want to see her again, and that she needed to get her shit together and figure out what she really wanted, because I sure as hell knew what I didn't want anymore. After I sent that, I felt this strange mix of relief and emptiness. The weight of it all was finally starting to lift, but the pain still lingered. I realized that I'd been so focused on trying to hold onto what I thought was real that I'd ignored the signs. Maybe I was naive, maybe I was stupid, but I guess I needed to see it with my own eyes to finally accept that some people just aren't what they seem. Now, I'm just trying to pick up the pieces. It's going to take time, a lot of time, but I know I'll get there. The thing I've learned is that trust is fragile, and once broken, it's almost impossible to fully repair. But maybe someday I'll find someone who doesn't lie, who doesn't cheat, who's worth trusting with everything. Until then, I'll just keep moving forward, no matter how much it hurts. It's been a few weeks since I cut ties with Lisa completely. Honestly, I feel like I'm just starting to breathe again, but it's a slow process. The shock has worn off, but the wound is still fresh. Every day I wake up with this gnawing sense of betrayal, like I was living a lie my whole life. It's funny how your mind can turn even the happiest memories into knives stabbing at your chest once you realize they were just illusions. I've been focusing on myself, trying to rebuild some semblance of normalcy. I started working out more, trying to clear my head, and I've been talking to friends and family a lot more. Most of them tell me I did the right thing, that I deserve better, but honestly, that doesn't make the pain any easier to handle. I keep asking myself, why? Why did Lisa do this? Was I not enough? Did I somehow push her away? Or was she just always like this, hiding her true colors behind a pretty facade? One thing that really hit me hard was realizing how much I trusted Jake, my best friend, and she betrayed that too. I thought we had a bond, him and me, and now I see that it was all bullshit. I keep replaying those moments before I found out, wondering if I missed any warning signs. Maybe I was too blind, too in love to see it coming. Or maybe I just didn't want to see it. I remember the last conversation I had with Lisa. I told her I needed space, that I wasn't ready to talk, and she begged me to give her another chance, that she'd change, that she'd prove she loved me. She cried, she swore she'd never do it again, but I knew better. Once that trust is broken, it's almost impossible to fix. I saw her for what she really was, a manipulative, bitchy woman who thought she could get away with anything. I also made a decision. I'm not going to stay in this town. I've booked a trip for a couple of weeks to get away, think things through. I need to get out of here, clear my head, and find myself again. I don't want to spend the rest of my life bitter and angry, but I also refuse to be a fool any longer. I deserve someone who respects me, who values honesty and loyalty. Lisa clearly wasn't that person. As I pack my bags, I realize I've learned a lot from this whole nightmare. Trust is precious, and once it's gone, it's damn near impossible to get back. But I've also learned that I'm stronger than I thought. I survived this and I will move on. I might be hurt, but I'm not broken. And someday, maybe, I'll find someone who truly loves me for who I am, not for some secret affair or fleeting pleasure. For now, I just need to breathe, to let go of the anger and focus on healing. Because if I don't, I'll just be carrying this weight forever. And I refuse to be that guy. Whatever happens next, I know one thing for sure. I will never let someone betray me like that again. I'll rebuild myself step by step until I'm better than ever. Now that I've had some space and time to reflect, I realize how much this whole thing has changed me. It's like I've been through a war, not just with Lisa and Jake, but with myself. I used to think love was enough, trust, loyalty, a little patience, that those things could keep a relationship afloat. But I've learned the hard way that some people are just good at lying, good at hiding who they really are until it's too late. Honestly, I don't regret leaving. If anything, I feel a strange sense of relief. I finally see clearly now. Lisa was never the person I thought she was. All those late nights, all those promises she made, were they just lies? Did she ever truly love me? Deep down, I think I always knew she was selfish, but I wanted to believe in us so badly that I ignored all the signs. That was my mistake. The betrayal with Jake was the final nail in the coffin. I trusted him too for years. Best friends are supposed to have each other's backs, right? But he threw that away for a quick fling. With my wife, and the worst part, Lisa didn't even deny it when I confronted her. She just lied more, spun her stories, and played the victim. That bitchy, manipulative streak she has, she's good at it. Too good. Looking back, I realize I was never truly happy even before all this happened. There were little cracks in our marriage, the endless arguments, her sneaky behavior, the way she dismissed my feelings. But I was too in love or too blind to see the warning signs that she was already checked out, that she was capable of this level of deceit. Now I see that love alone isn't enough if someone doesn't respect you or value honesty. I've decided to move on. I've started focusing on myself, rebuilding my confidence, reconnecting with friends, and even thinking about therapy to process everything properly. I'm not rushing into anything new. I know I need time to heal. But I also know I'll be okay. I'll find someone who genuinely cares about me, who doesn't lie or cheat, someone trustworthy. And I want to tell anyone reading this, trust your instincts. Don't ignore the red flags. If someone shows you they don't respect you, don't make excuses for them. Because once trust is broken, it's almost impossible to fix, no matter how much you want to believe in fairy tales. This experience has been brutal, but it's also been a wake-up call. I have learned that I am stronger than I thought, that I can survive even the deepest betrayals. And I've learned that sometimes the best revenge is simply walking away and proving to yourself that you're better than the lies and betrayal you endured. So here I am, finally ready to move forward. Still hurt, still cautious, but hopeful, because if I've learned anything, it's that life moves on, and so will I.